much as that I appreciate the ego boost there, to be completely honest, I'm a glorified junk man. I run an organization that basically, if you want the cynical answer, I turn tax write-offs into charitable donations. I go to corporations, I convince them they don't need that hardware and they need a nice big piece of paper to irritate the IRS. Then I turn around and take the surplus hardware, hand it out to schools, nonprofits, underprivileged homes, handicapped individuals, and just about anybody who can give us a reasonably good excuse. All of our machines go out with a standard Linux installation on them because it's free, and quite frankly, it can do things Microsoft can't do. During the course of this, I have suddenly found myself with a rather extensive collection of computer equipment. Strangely enough, you realize that your obsession has now gotten sub-obsessions. There are people who not only collect obsolete computers, but I've got people who collect obsolete game consoles, or people who are only interested in the handhelds. Okay? It's absolutely astonishing. Let me check something here. Hey Alex,
Yo.
What do we not have in game consoles right now?
We don't have a 3DO. We don't have a power supply for our Jaguar. We got, I could use an original Intellivision. We could use Vectrex.
Vectrex?
Yeah, we don't have Vectrex.
Okay.
Love to get Vectrex. We don't have any of the original Pong systems.
I do. I have the first generation Atari.
The original.
Anyway, the point is that our game collection is getting to the point where it's notable in what we don't have, not what we do have. The same is happening with our computer collection. The thing is that I don't mean to brag, but I'm in an enviable position to the rest of you because they give me this stuff for free. They bring it to my warehouse. In fact, they now pay me to take it. Needless to say, this has made Salem very happy because he gets first shot at my glue. If you want it, we have it, or we'll get it in the near future. Original Osbornes, Altairs, Apple Ones, Chrometicos, you name it, we've got it. Personal computer, mainframe, you name it. I believe we just had a PDP-8 in last week. Okay. Interestingly enough, we are going to eventually try to get Linux on all of these and hook them to our cluster, just because we say we can. Needless to say, this is obviously not a subject I'm real acquainted with, so I'm going to throw some weird ideas out and ask if anybody's interested in participating in our harebrained schemes. I'm building a Beowulf cluster. I want somebody to help me put together an Apple II as a BG101 terminal to run it. Anybody interested? A supercomputer with an Apple II as an interface? Strikes me as an interesting deal.
I've got a couple H19s you can use.
I can use them. Nothing's too old, nothing's too weird, nothing's too dysfunctional. Our primary purpose is to see if we can get it lit and do something with it. I'm also looking for people who are capable of programming hacks for hero robots. Yeah, I've got a Hero 1 and a Hero Junior. I should be getting my hands on a Hero 2000 in the very near future. Also, people are interested in more modern esoteric things. We want to hook our IO to our cluster and see if we can run some high-end artificial intelligence programs through a stupid little plastic dog. Anybody has any interest in that, they're more than welcome to. What else? We have an almost infinite supply of obsolete computing equipment, and quite frankly, I want to get on the top 500 listing. I think it would be really interesting to have one of the 500 most powerful computing arrays on Earth in a junkyard in East Oakland. You know, especially if we can continue to develop it with a casting crew of junkies and degenerates, we'll be way ahead of the game.
Watch out for the power bill.
What's that?
I said, watch out for the power bill.
Yeah, when I'm sitting in a 1926 industrial refrigeration plant, well, the bill is painful. There's no amount of computers I can't plug into the wall. Yeah, no, the power consumption, last time I checked, I had 443 phase lines coming into the building, plus my own step-down transformers to convert to 110. What do you want of power? Okay, I don't care. There's
Motor generator sets.
What's that?
Motor generator sets.
Those are the industrial room.
I'm sorry, I still didn't catch the question.
Motor generator sets.
It was an initial, at one time it was an industrial refrigeration facility back in the time of ammonia.
Okay.
I've got massive, absolutely massive motors that we have no idea what the hell to do with. So does that get you partway there?
Go drag that crate 2 out of the museum and plug it in.
I can do that. Doesn't that require like liquid fueling or something though?
Freon.
Freon?
Fluoriner.
Lots of Freon? And let me guess, it's the ozone depleted Freon, not the stuff that makes your air conditioner run like crap these days. Right?
Very special stuff.
Very special stuff. Well, you get the Freon, I can provide the power, but if anybody wants to move it, turn it on. Am I wrong? Is it now basically replaced by like a penny and two as far as total processing power?
Those were still pretty fast by modern standards. I think they're just expensive to run,
Yeah.
which is a shame because they're pretty.
But still, does Pentium 2 have the fun?
Does penny and two have what?
The fun?
Of lighting up your own crate too? I don't know, I have one with, I think it last time they have 70 CPUs all running at the same time when it works. And the potential to get it up to a couple hundred, conceivably 1,000. I really want to see that run light up. It should basically brown up the neighborhood for a few minutes. And that'll run top 5, we'll run benchmarks on it. Claim credit for something really quite pointless, but we've done it anyway. As someone pointed out earlier, I have computers on every continent on Earth. Doctors Without Borders runs on my hardware. I am the guy who provided computers to the Russian Space Agency, and I can lay claim to keeping Mir in orbit for a few more minutes at least. I have computers in Antarctica with a Chilean expedition to study ozone depletion. I have computers in mainland China. I have computers specifically there to irritate the Chinese government, no less. We are in the process of becoming the largest provider of computers to the government in exile of Tibet.
Cuba?
Hmm?
Cuba?
I am the largest provider of computers to the nation of Cuba, period. I am the guy who provides most of the computers to Project Infomed, and Infomed is the largest provider total. Up until I came across a situation where the Cuban government tried to limit my freedom of speech, we were very friendly. I'm going to Cuba sometime first of next year to determine the computers I've given to them in the past are still going where they said they were going, and if that's the case, I will reopen it. And if you're wondering what the speech issue was, is that in a Wired article I was asked what my opinion of Fidel Castro was, and the statement was that he was just another asshole in charge. This apparently did not go over all that well with the Cuban government.
It's nice to see they rewired.
Huh? I'm a media whore, I have to rewire. Let's see what else.
Ask or hold Atlantic?
I'm sorry, repeat.
Did the ask word or hold word Atlantic together?
Well, apparently I've been told that if I had insulted Che Guevara, I'd be dead. But you can get away with Fidel up to a certain point because he's still alive and therefore treated as a mere mortal. No, I think it was just the concept that an American could criticize Fidel Castro at all. But on the other hand, if they want to be free, I can criticize anyone they damn well please, right? That's the idea. Other blatant things that we've done. Let's see, go for it.
Are these organizations purchasing the computers?
No, I give them away for free. The only thing you might be required to do is cover the transportation from my dock to wherever it's going. I can get the computers and refurbish them, but I cannot cover transportation to anywhere on Earth at this point in time. We're a self-funded organization, so what you see, our achievements are achieved through our own fundraising efforts, which, to be completely honest, makes it a little difficult to ship containers all over the planet. Go for it.
What's your source of funding?
I sell scrap. Okay, and I am rapidly becoming the used monitor king for Northern California. You want a good deal on a 21-inch monitor? I've got it. But most of my funding actually comes in the form of processed circuit boards, scrap aluminum, scrap copper, things like that. I've also started charging a nominal fee for the disposal of cathode ray tube because, quite frankly, that's the only option I've got these days. In California, toxic cathode ray tubes are considered a health. They originally were toxic waste, and now they've been classed down as universal waste. They cannot go into the landfill. In case anybody knows, with some recent press from the Basel Action Network, sending them anywhere else is also a no-no. So the only option you really have at this point is to process it and set the leaded glass off for secondary refining, preferably within the continental United States. Did that answer your question? Okay.
So these ancillary kind of things are not to support the, giving away part.
Oh yeah, that's the whole purpose. The only way I can afford to give away stuff for free is if I figure out how to pay my bills. And to be completely honest, I mean, look at me. I started as a junkyard dumpster diver. I am not going to be the guy who's going to walk into the Ford Foundation and get a $100,000 grant. I have to prove myself first. Now, of course, if we've been doing it for 9 years, the grants are approaching us. But when we started, nobody was going to talk to us at all. Go for it.
What's your criteria for selecting or accepting requests?
Schools, nonprofits, underprivileged sons, handicapped individuals, developing world countries. We do not get to religious institutions for the promotion of religious beliefs, but if you've got a church that has a soup kitchen, we'll be glad to talk to you. If you need to spread the gospel, I heartily recommend you talk to Jerry Falwell or whatever evangelical leader of your particular belief structure is. I am profoundly unqualified to determine which particular religious entity is the correct one, and until someone can present me evidence to determine which one is correct, I have no interest in supporting this particular group of mythologies.
We'll follow you.
All right. Yeah. No. As far as I'm concerned, religion is the second oldest funny subject, and when the punchline comes down, fine. But until then, no interest whatsoever. We also do not give to governments that are on the Amnesty International or Human Rights Watch now shit list, which is getting difficult because Human Rights Watch now doesn't say real good things about us these days.
Which really means they've taken their blinders off in recent years.
Well, yeah, I would have to, excuse me, no, I got that backwards. Human Rights Watch likes the U.S., Amnesty International does not. Human Rights Watch is somewhat funded by some aspect of our government or some such, right? I don't know, I can't pay attention that much anymore. And I don't really care. To be completely honest, if you can demonstrate a need for computer equipment, I will endeavor to supply it. Now, this does not mean that everybody who calls up and asks for a Pentium 4 notebook gets one. The less you need, the more likely I am to be able to provide it. Yes?
That does raise my question. These days, what's the most common kind of specs on a system?
My standard machine for placement is a 200 megahertz Pentium class machine with 64 meg minimum, 2 gig hard drive space, a 14-inch monitor, keyboard, mouse, and SUSE Linux 7.3 installed. Also goes out with a boxed copy of SUSE 7.3 with manuals and media. That's my standard placement. I find that for 98% of applications, that's more than enough. Yes?
Why do you choose SUSE for distribution?
They gave me 30,000 copies. That was easy. They're an Oakland company, they were local, and we hauled off a bunch of stuff, so I have containers full of SUSE. You got a question?
If someone donated a truckload of Commodore equipment or Apple II or something like that, that would probably be scrapped.
No. No, we understand the museum value of it, and quite frankly, the only real conflicts and limit I have is to whose collection the stuff ends up in. I am his landlord and his host, but I have my own collection, and quite frankly, periodically get into some minor conflicts over who gets what. But I can guarantee you it would not be scrapped. Quite frankly, I'm still looking for one of the old 5 megabyte external disk drives for the Apple IIs. But profile, yes. Yeah. I have one, but the actual media itself is destroyed, so that's the last piece I need for my 2D collection. Is there another hand? Yes.
What's the oldest and what's the largest
Computer?
right that's coming your door?
The oldest. Okay. I have some World War II era artillery calculators using modified phone switches. I also have a programming manual for UNIVAC. I have an IBM punch card programmer, the funky little ones that look like a stapler. I have one of those. I have an extensive collection of tape readers. The old military ones with the teletype and the table on the side. Got those. What's the largest? Well, we no longer have the largest, and that wasn't all that old. It was a VAX 9000 from UCSF. We eventually foisted it off on the Russian Space Agency. Come on, ask me more questions.
Ever seen a Hayes
That's
chronograph?
odd.
Huh?
Ever seen a Hayes chronograph?
A what?
A Hayes chronograph.
A Hayes
It
chronograph?
was one of those. It looks like an original Hayes smart modem in the classic Hayes case, but it's an alarm clock basically that plugs into a PC.
No, I have not seen that. I will keep my eye out. I recently got a trade show version of the Newton. It's got the clear plastic case instead of the weird green.
The 120,
I got one of those.
Yeah,
think
that's
so.
funny.
there's a crystal 120 given away for a lot of developers,
Mhm.
journalists, and friends of the company.
Did you know we got a whole bunch of new Newton stuff original in box yesterday?
I was in there and I was kicking myself for not taking it out of the hands of the guys before they entered the door.
Okay, you now understand my conflict. All right, give me more questions. Go for it.
Do you work with, say, shipping companies and shippers to help you defray the cost of shipping? Because
We
it's all
have
charity,
talked to
right?
various shipping companies. One of the problems we have is a lot of the places we're sending stuff to, shipping companies don't go because there's no reason to. You know, they only ship where there's a reason to ship material. And, you know, what is it we just did? 300 machines to Quito,
Ecuador, yeah.
Ecuador.
Yeah.
And we did that in affiliation with Indian Media, so I can't claim full responsibility for that. But finding a shipping company to send it there is almost impossible. We got another one going to Guatemala next month, and it's going to be another nightmare. Shipping companies are great. Shipping companies will give you discounts. Shipping companies will give you discounts as long as they're going there. But you know, if you're shipping to someplace in the third world where there's no market, there's nobody to do you a favor because you know, the method for transportation does not exist. Okay.
So what's the most interesting thing you found on or in a machine?
Completely non-computer related equipment.
Okay.
Tear gas dispensing kits were interesting. The whole thing, I could have staged my own little riot. It was great. Military band radio systems, which were never supposed to fall into our hands.
Did those go to Cuba?
No. I like my equipment, so I want to keep my kids' security issues back. We play with them for a little while first. Let's see, what else have we got that's weird? Mars bars, Rodney King commemorative baton training kits. Of course, that's our name for them. But lots of half-finished, half-assed electronic or computing devices. Analog computing boards that nobody's quite sure what the logic was supposed to be. And we can't for the life of us figure it out. But we're looking at a piece of machinery that somebody wired at least 9,000 or 10,000 individual leads by hand. You know, how weird do you want? Alex, you got anything to say on weird?
I'm just trying my brain. The Xerox system, but that's not.
Altair's, Osborne's, Promemco's, pre-IBM PC, IBM personal
What was
computers.
the thing you cut out in the basement in San Francisco?
Well, actually, no, we cut that out of floor 10 feet up, then hauled it into the basement, and then cut it apart. But that was just a fairly recent idea of radar. Nothing spectacular. No, the VAX is the one for weird stories. We hauled that one out of UCSF at 1 o'clock in the morning through intensive care. And did you know that the wheels on that, when you bolt it all together, they don't rotate on an axis, they only rotate on, I guess you'd call it a horizontal axis, not a vertical axis. And that they're wired so that if you leave it together, 50% of the wheels are oriented 90 degrees to the direction.
It's a security measure.
So when you push it, okay, it makes a horrific noise. It doesn't move very well. But if you take it apart, you need rocket scientists to put it back together, at least if you're working from a scrapyard standpoint. So we hauled that through the emergency room, discovered it fit in the elevator by no more than half an inch. Got it down, we're loading it into the truck, and this is probably the weirdest donation story I can give you. Is it's 2 o'clock in the morning, I'm at the basement at UCSF, we're loading incredible amounts of bizarre computer equipment into this thing, and this guy pulls up in a really nice looking new Chevy Suburban. black. Okay. I'm really tired, I'm really punch drunk. So I'm gonna tell you what I heard, describe his reaction, and then I'll tell you what he actually said. I hear, I have a donation. Okay? I look at him and say, cool, just throw it in the back. The man's jaw drops. His eyes get really wide. He looks at me like I just killed his puppy, something like that. Turns out that he's from a local mortuary. He's got a body to donate. And his response to my response was admittedly more than fitting. So, no, we did not end up with the dead body. We tried. No, we didn't really try. We didn't have any list to keep it. So, give me more.
What's your relationship with the city of Oakland like?
It's better to ask for forgiveness than permission.
What's your relationship with Gatorade?
Gatorade blows goats, to be completely honest. We are looking to move out of Oakland, not because of any difficulties with the city of Oakland or with the population in general, or even really with our building. We are looking to move because Gatorade is making it impossible for us to get material to and from our facility in a timely fashion.
Can you explain that? What is
All right, I share a driveway with an Gatorade industrial bottling plant. Okay, well, we like to think we share it. My lease says I share it. Okay, the reality says something very different. At some point, we are going to walk into litigation with dear old PepsiCo. They make life difficult. We lose donors, we lose shipments, we lose clients, we don't get material in or out of the building in time. And I'm running a facility right now that's moving over 100 tons a month of electronic scrap in one form or another. And the only reason I'm not moving a hell of a lot more is because I cannot get it into my facility.
Do they leave their trucks in your driveway? Is that what they do?
They consider our communal driveway to be a parking lot. And so yes, they leave their trucks in the driveway. They've gone so far as that we've had to install huge steel posts just to keep them out of the spaces that are designated our parking stalls. But as far as the rest of the road, there have been times when I come out there and there are 65 trucks lined up along the street. Bumper to bumper, there's no way anything's getting through. So yeah, we're moving. We got a shot at a building in Berkeley. We're looking at a couple of other buildings in Oakland. Yes?
I want to hear about the move to Berkeley.
You want to hear about the move to Berkeley?
Yeah. What prompted it?
Cheaper.
Where are you going to go?
Purely based, well, I'm going to be a little leery about where I'm going because I don't want anybody else to know about the deal I'm working on. Okay? I have really, really leaned on this guy to get the best possible deal, and I don't want anybody to go to him while his brain is still weak. But we're going to be moving somewhere in the general vicinity of Gilman in Berkeley.
Cool.
Yeah, and we're hoping to actually take over the electronic scrap disposal for the transfer station. Which would be a nice touch.
Since urban ore left, it's got really boring.
Yeah, well, urban ore's, screwing up just as much as they used to over on 6th Street now. Yeah, actually, I avoided having anything to do with Berkeley for a while because an affiliate of ours, Berkeley Neighborhood Computers, was very prevalent in there. And I liked working with him because it was nice, but he's apparently throwing in the towel, so we're going to move in and live to carcass. That's our motive. Let's see. Politically incorrect corporate mottos. Vultures never starve. Does that make any sense? As far as I'm concerned, as long as people keep producing it, we'll keep eating it up and handing it out. Give me more questions or I'll make more shit up.
So this place sounds like pretty interesting. What does it take to get a tour?
Showing up. Give us a little bit of lead time. You the correspondent from Wired?
Nope.
Okay.
We're closed next week.
What?
We're closed next week.
Yeah, next week we're prepping for a Halloween party.
You still have volunteer
Oh,
days on weekends?
Saturdays 12 to 4. Any skill set required. If you don't know how to twist a screwdriver and make a computer, we will rectify that problem very quickly.
How many full-timers do you have?
15. 2 facilities in California. I'm opening a facility in Florida. I've got a weird affiliate facility that I hope is still in existence in back out East Germany. And we work with an orphanage in Juarez, Mexico.
Do Do you get any Eastern Bloc equipment?
Do I get any Eastern Bloc equipment? I have an affiliate who has gone back to Italy and is opening a facility in Italy and hopefully working in Romania. At that point, my understanding is that they're going to collect in Eastern Europe, process and refurbish and distribute from Romania. At that point, I hope to start getting Eastern European equipment.
I've read of some strange stuff that exists there that didn't exist here.
I understand that a significant amount of the Soviet bloc equipment was just pirated vax stuff. Is that one of the big espionage nightmares of the KGB is that they backed the vax, they decided to choose vax as their target instead of choosing IBM as their target. Huh?
I think it's a decline IBM.
Yeah, no, I know. There was an IBM distributorship in Moscow. I mean, it was a type ending it, but I understand that they went after, on a large scale, they went after the digital equipment. Apparently, it was more accessible to the theft or piracy. I don't know, ask midnight. Come on, give me more questions.
You work with like Goodwill and Salvation Army and that such as well?
They give me the stuff they don't know what to do with. Okay? I'll be completely honest, we set ourselves up as the bottom feeder in hopes that we capture everything. Okay? I want your dead, stripped out cases. I want your IBM XTs with a blown processor. I want the stuff that everybody else considers garbage. Okay? To be completely honest, I scrap that, pay my bills if it's not a collectible. And that allows me to purchase the memory and pay the people and pay the rent and all of those other things that allow me to give away the other computers. Yes?
What's your best source of revenue in terms of, for the scrap side, what are the types of things that you make the most money on?
What do I make the most money per pound or most money
Well,
total?
is it per pound or do you sell it as, equipment?
The largest income comes in the form of refurbished monitors because every 486 on up has an SVGA monitor. We only give away Pentium class or better. But on a per pound basis, circuit boards, easily, 75, 85 cents a pound. We turn out a couple of tons a week. Let me brag about some money. Our current monthly net to operate is $40,000 a month. We generate every dollar of that in-house. We have generated 97% of our funding in our 9 years of operation. I gleefully submit that on a charitable donation of computers on a bang for buck basis, there's nobody who can touch us. We are the cheapest and most cost-effective method for disposing of computer waste that you will find. Unless, of course, you ship it to China.
They throw it in the river.
Yeah, that's just about as good as shipping it to China.
Unless they
Who are
throw
your
it in the river.
competitors?
What?
Who are your competitors?
I have the Computer Recycling Center in Mountain View and Santa Rosa. But frankly, they tend to be more on the boutique-y side, and I can criticize them for hours, but it probably isn't very productive. But we function more on the industrial scale of it, so I'm going head-to-head with things like HMR. I'm going head-to-head with mainland China hard these days. In case you don't know, if somebody shows up and offers to buy your computer equipment, it's going to Asia, probably China, possibly Pakistan, and also now possibly Vietnam. There's some stuff happening in Korea, but Koreans tend to trade ship it over to China. And what happens there is absolutely horrific. What they do to the material when it gets there is just absolutely nasty. There's no oversight. Sorry, what?
What do they do?
Well, if you want to see pictures, first off, this is not my gig. You guys want to check out the Basel Action Network's website. I believe it's www.basel.org. But what you will see is people using open 55-gallon drums to extract the gold from the circuit boards. You know, hydrochloric and cyanide acids, hydrochloric acid and/or cyanide extraction. You will see people breaking monitors in a field to extract the copper yoke. You will see the resulting leaded and toxic, it's the 7 pounds of lead encapsulated in a cathode ray tube that gets put in the field. Now, I will admit that encapsulated glass is about as inert as you can get, but it's still a hell of a lot of lead in the groundwater. There is I believe, 500-mile long stretch of the Chinese coast right now known as the Guangdong province, where the potable water, where what used to be potable water no longer is. Respiratory disease has gone up, cardiac disease has gone up, cancer has gone way up, birth defects are going through the ceiling. The fisheries market is dead. You can no longer irrigate the fields with the water in the creek because the plants die. It's just a nightmare, and it's funded, to be completely honest, largely by Americans trying to save a buck. Because that's the way it goes. If you're in the recycling business, your primary cost is the cost of the labor to extract the materials, so it gets shipped to where the cheapest possible labor cost is. And people who will ship to the cheapest part of the world have very little concern for the environmental degradation their operations produce. Did that answer your question?
Gives me an idea.
Okay. Yes.
On a lighter note, do you have stuff like Apple Food and stuff that you sell to use
Usetech.org. The man with the funny haircut is the man you want to talk to. Okay. He handles all of our eBay, all of our e-commerce stuff. He handles our rather disturbingly, would you say obnoxious, Alex?
Noxious what? In what sense?
Is our website obnoxious?
Yes.
Good. Okay. As you may know, we have a very high opinion of ourselves. So refrain from expressing it. But anyway, www.usetech.org. If you're smart enough to navigate through our system, you're smart enough to buy our stuff. People who log in and say, I need a painting-free notebook and I've got $50. We're hoping that the system is actually convoluted enough that they never actually get to us. Give me more questions. Feed me.
How did you get started? What was the first quarter, first year like?
Okay, well, first off, how I got started. Honestly, I had a really, really bad drug problem. World-class drug problem. And while I could get away from the drugs, you gotta do something. Okay, you can't just walk away from a drug and not feel something, right? So I started dumpster diving. My father was in the computer field, so I discovered very early how actually simple a personal computer is. You know, the IBM PC was originally designed to be assembled by unskilled labor in Malaysia. Okay, so when you look at it, every part inside a PC is keyed. You can't put the parts in the wrong places, or you can, but you can have really big biceps and a really small forebrain. The point is that personal computer repair is easy, and people were throwing away back in the mid-90s, early 90s. So I was dumpster diving. I would pull computers out of dumpsters, I would fix them, I would give them to people. I gave a bunch of computers to a third grade classroom in San Anselmo, and they called a reporter. The reporter generated a newspaper story, and I got woken up the next Monday morning by a public relations director for a corporation that will remain nameless that said, hi, we have 2,000 computers. We read about you in the paper. Do you want them? I was living in a one-room apartment. And when I say one room, I mean that quite literally. The kitchen was the stove on one end. Okay. There was a door and the toilet was on the other side of it. But I had a computer patio. I had a veranda. I had little walkways. And I had a wife who had been really patient with me. I went through the drug habit and through all of the other stuff, but when it came to filling her house completely with obsolete computer equipment, that was enough. So we went around and found called around until I found a storage unit that would allow me to unscrew the light bulb and put one of those socket adapters in, so I could then test the computer equipment. And it was 8 feet by 8 feet by 10 feet. And when we walked into it, the first thing they said, this is a barn, we'll never fill it. Next week, it's full. So we rent another unit, and that's full. And we rent another unit, that's full. We decided, okay, let's get serious. We don't want to rent an industrial warehouse space. Okay, 2,000 square feet. We'll never fill it. Next day, wham! We got it to the point where we were at 3,500 square feet in Marin County, and let's just make it very simple. You cannot run a nonprofit charity at $1 a square foot. Does not happen. So we looked around, we found a building in San Leandro. Safeway donated us 160,000 square feet of warehouse space with another 200,000 square feet of yard. Okay, big, right? Take forever, right? Yeah, how long did it take me to fill it? Come on, guess.
About 2 weeks.
72 hours. I got in the building, signed the lease agreement, okay? My cell phone rang. Kaiser Permanente has decided that they no longer want to warehouse their surplus. Okay, all of it must go now. Okay, 200,000 square feet of unbelievable stuff. Okay, boom, it's all in my warehouse. That was the largest we ever got. That lease was a donation, so it ended after 8 months, but it gave us the ability to demonstrate what we could do. And we generated enough funds that we're now in a 60,000 square foot facility in East Oakland.
So it sounds like companies everywhere just have huge piles of this stuff, and as soon as they discovered somebody would take it, they all called.
Somebody will give them a write-off. Oh, imagine. Crap. Tax write-off. Great! You know, it's gotten a little bit more difficult now that they've declared it toxic waste, but no, we're very popular. We're very, very popular. You can check my record. Go through, check out our website, ask questions, look at the old news stories, follow up on our old donors. We are irritating, we are obnoxious. We have no interest whatsoever in people who give us any shit at all. But when it comes to giving away computers and giving away more computers for less than anybody else, we've got it nailed. We are successful, we are successful, we are successful freaks, which gives us a rather unique outlook on things. My standard for success is rather profoundly different than yours. My bills are paid, my roof is covered, and I'm relatively famous and getting away with murder, so I'm happy. Questions?
Is anybody doing this in Mexico and giving away computers? Not just
We've shipped an awful lot of computers to Mexico, and like I said earlier, we work with that orphanage in Juarez. We send them equipment, they recondition it, and then that orphanage uses it in its own operations.
Juarez is a pretty scary place, and certainly.
Can you think of a better place for it to be done, though?
Yeah, have you been there yourself, or?
No, I'm not very mobile.
Right.
So.
Yeah, it's an incredible place, but I mean, it'd be great for somebody to do something useful there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, our computers need places where they're most needed, are the places you least like to want to go.
Right.
Yes.
It's when somebody donates something to your company, is that a charitable donation?
Damn straight.
And is that better than what these Chinese and these Vietnamese operations might pay for it? Would the net be better?
Shall we walk through the math for a minute?
If you don't mind.
Okay. Well, first off, there's something called the Taxpayer Relief Act, which is slated predominantly for newer hardware. If your hardware is less than 2 years old and you donate it to an organization like mine, you can deduct up to 150% of its undepreciated value. Okay? That's a nice loophole, and I dare any scrap dealer to match that dollar for dollar value. Okay? Second, they're going to pay you $3 to $5 for a machine, if you're lucky. You know, maybe you'll find somebody to pay more. I will donate it whatever I will take it as a donation at whatever its undepreciated value is.
Could you charge something too?
Unfortunately, the state of California now requires that I dispose of monitors in a way that costs me money. And quite frankly, the writing is on the wall for the rest of electronics. Because the tests that they use to determine cathode ray tube toxicity and render it illegal to put into landfill, the moment they finish the test for that test on circuit boards, they're going to limit circuit boards from landfill. The chemistry is fairly simple. If you think about it, the lead in the monitor is encapsulated and almost completely inert. The lead in the circuit board is mixed with solder, and check me if I'm wrong, but the solder is there to actually make it more volatile so it bonds better. So, which do you think is going to hit your landfill with a toxic wave faster?
All the computer companies are working very quickly to.
Yeah, and some of them are paying me.
To eliminate lead in the original board.
Yes.
Because they can't export to Europe.
Yeah, but the thing is the legacy stuff is good for another 50 years.
For sure.
Oh, and if you want to see the nightmare that's really coming, it's not actually in the computer field, but it's a related thing. Has anyone been following the FCC regulations on HDTV? You know what happens in 2006?
Never gonna happen.
Every single goddamn television in the country becomes obsolete. Every single one.
Would there be adapter boxes?
Yeah, but the adapter box costs 250. Hyundai's already really announced that they will have HDTV for 300. What are you gonna buy? So how many of those adapters do you really think they're gonna sell?
What do you mean? Why do you say it's going to be obsolete?
HDTV standard is such that your television will not receive the bandwidth, nor can it display the signal, even if it could.
You're giving all the televisions
Yeah, but are they gonna switch to that broadcasting standard?
2006.
If you got an old TV.
There's an excellent probability that will be put on.
There's an excellent probability that that will be put off, but actually, I'm not sure it's all that excellent. Because there's a hell of a lot of money behind the give us that bandwidth group.
What congressman has the guts to tell all of his constituents, you gotta buy new TVs though?
The one who just received a couple $1 million in campaign contributions from Qualcomm.
I'll bet against that going away in 2006.
Maybe, but
We got precedent here. If you have a propane cylinder on your gas barbecue, you can no longer use it because you can no longer get it filled.
that's
It
correct.
no longer has the valve. So to me, that is the taking of my property. The government is taking my property away from me because I can't use it. But I have no recourse. I mean, there's no suits that I know of about it. I just have to go out and buy a new tank. Because I could replace the valves at probably double the cost of the new tank.
Mhm.
But
I
I have all
submit
these
that-
tanks sitting around.
I was brought up in the drug culture. I mean, that's a minor invasion of personal liberties.
Oh, yeah.
Personal agency and everything. We can get into that, but.
But they can do.
Oh, yeah, they will. No question about it, yes.
How has the dot-com collapse affected your business?
Vultures never starve.
Was it a big,
It's mixed. One, they're in trouble, so they're actually no longer all that interested in tax write-offs, they're more interested in making a buck. It's interesting, when money was there, they weren't interested, they were interested in spending it, but now that the money's tight, they're interested in making a buck. We're doing all right. Most of our stuff is actually coming from real estate agencies, so we find themselves with an abandoned building. With hardware clearouts, things like that. But no, the economic depression has been very, very good to us. The economic boom is very, very good to us. My only real fear is the economy stagnates. It's tragic that all those desktops are being empty, but all that hardware needs to go somewhere. And we will do our best to dispose of it. Yes?
So what's gonna happen when circuit boards becomes illegal to, you have to recycle circuit boards? Is anyone too expensive to take this step for free, or are you gonna have to charge them?
Well, since the writing is on the wall, we're charging a very small fee now and using those funds to research methods for disposal. In the long run, I'm probably going to end up building an industrial scrapping facility, getting my own grinders and processing them. Yes.
You're saying that right now you can get a chunk of a buck per pound for circuit boards. What happens to those circuit boards? Does it actually pull out the chips and reuse them, or is it
They go to a chip puller, then after they go to a chip puller, they go to a precious metal recovery system. Chip pulling is amazing. Fascinatingly enough, the legacy equipment from way back when was rapidly becoming the most profitable.
and the chips are still actually been reused recently?
Did you see the thing on Slashdot where NASA was buying components off of eBay because they didn't find them anywhere new?
Wow.
We're hoping to actually get ourselves to the point where we're a legitimate NASA contractor because we have this out there looking for. The space shuttle design was finalized in 1979, which means that the main processor on the space shuttle, unless they've been an update, is a 65 CO2. That's an Apple IIe. It's an enhanced Apple IIe. More questions? Go for it.
There have been a lot of talk about making manufacturers take their equipment back. What do you think of that?
Let me give you the two major holes in that. Mail order, internet sales. The state of California is not allowed to regulate internet sales or mail order sales. So all you're going to do is give the vendor in your neighborhood a $10 liability over the guy who mail orders. That's what happens. Okay? And let's be honest, we all like to think green thoughts and feel that we're environmental, but $10 is $10. And people will buy those cheap monitors, especially, corporations that are working on a margin, things like that. I mean, what is it? You can go to Tiger Direct, they have a warehouse in Taiwan. You can waive your credit card, and within 7 days, it's delivered to your door. It's easier than order fries, and frankly, their return policy is better.
Is California the best place for you to be?
California has a serious NIMBY problem, and its environmental laws are at sometimes obstructive. For example, the legislation that made it illegal to do cathode ray tubes happened in an afternoon, and it cost us $250,000 in one day. So no, California is not the best place, but from a bureaucratic standpoint, it's not the best place. But this is where the stuff is. Does that make any sense? Okay, that's where it wins. It wins hard. We've been approached by opening other facilities in other places, but the amount of tonnage that we need to move pretty much requires that we be on the border between Silicon Valley and the Pacific Rim. I want to be where they design it, where it screws up, and where the Japanese and Asians overproduce it grotesquely. That's what I feed off of.
Considered the Los Angeles area for
Have considered the Los Angeles area, was in the process of putting together a facility in Los Angeles when the guy who was going to run the facility discovered that my job wasn't quite that easy and had me do only classes and nervous breakdown. There are plans to open up in Los Angeles. We are hopefully actually going to open a major processing facility in Barstow so that we have someplace outside of the city of LA to deal with the amount of material. Oh, and if anybody wants a chance to make some serious money, talk to me. I'm looking for investors on something. So that's another thing about our nonprofit. We make money and generate income. We have to. You'll find that we run it more like a business than a do-gooder situation. Let me see if I can explain that better. Most nonprofits will come up to you and say, if you give me money, I will do this great thing. Okay? We like to do we're doing this great thing, and if you don't want to help us, fuck you anyway. So, I did warn you that I had a bit of an attitude, so I hope I'm not offending anybody too much. And if I am, all right, any more questions?
Do you get new stuff that was overproduced?
Yes, yes, and in huge amounts sometimes. Digital cameras. At one time, I could have done you a really good deal on 40,000 56K PCIM modems. Did I add too many letters there? 40,000 of them. First off, it's 4,000 to a pallet, 10 pallets. All PCM modems. It was amazing. Needless to say, computers and students all over the country got PCM from it, and then we made bank. Yeah, there was the time that Wells Fargo donated 30,000 copies of NT4. That was good. That worked out really well. Huh? Shrink wrap with the with the update packs too. NT4 and then all the way up to update 5. It's great.
What do you do with them? Do you resell them, or do you just take it out computers?
Well, I actually am doing my very best not to put any Microsoft product on any machine ever. Okay. I actually
Realistic though?
Huh?
Is that realistic?
I actually consider Microsoft to be part of the environmental problem. Your computer's obsolete because Microsoft told you it is. Because Microsoft sold you a new piece of software that will not run on the box you bought last year. Okay? That's why your computer's obsolete. It's not because it's physically failed. It's not because it's not powerful enough to do what you need to do. It's because it cannot run Microsoft's new Go Faster Stripe. Okay? So I load Linux on the machines. It's good for a friggin' decade. Go for it. Okay? And I can load the same package on my 486s all the way up through my Pentium 4s. Same suite, same utilities, same gear, same everything. It goes out as a standard package, and people can friggin' use it. And if they know what the hell they're doing, they can also build supercomputers out of it, and they can compile their own language, their own programs, and do all of these things that Microsoft either doesn't do at all, or will charge you an additional limb for. What's the total compiler suite for Microsoft these days?
$600.
How much?
$600.
That thing's due the $2,000 a year subscription thing.
Okay. SUSE Linux, you download it off the internet for free, you burn it to your own CD, or Red Hat, or Mandrake, or Debian, or whatever friggin' flavor you like. Okay? It has a compiler. For every compiler that Microsoft has, there's a matching compiler under a GNU license. Okay? You can write the code, for free, and you can distribute it. Okay? To be completely honest, Linux has taken away, what did I read recently? I read that Linux has now supplanted Apple for the desktop. It's nowhere near Microsoft, but Apple is now number 3 on the desktop. Frankly, Microsoft's running scared. Look at Steve Ballmer's speeches lately.
Developers, developers, developers.
Yeah, Will, that was Smart Linux. Yeah. They've been doing so well up till now.
I want to know what kind of dope
Yeah,
you took
I hear.
before that
You.
speech.
If you released a computer that had Microsoft on it, would you have to be paying something to Microsoft?
Dan Skibby. I have no interest in. Bill Gates has enough freaking money. Do you realize that man has enough money to fund his own Mars program?
I wish you would.
Why does he need it?
There are no people buying computers on Mars.
Anyway, I've been given the 2-minute nightmare, so if you got it, get them to me now. Are we done? Go.
How much precious metals do you recover from the boards at VCF?
I don't. I sell them to somebody else, they recover them, and they frankly lie to me every time I ask. But their check's clear, so I don't really care. Eventually, we've done a little bit of experimentation with using electrolysis to remove gold from actually processors is the big one. The Pentium 60s and the things like that. It's a really immense gold content. But on the whole, I don't have any real sight down on that. Yes.
So the companies that you sent to do that next step, are they doing that work here or in Mexico? Or
They're doing it here,
Okay,
and I make damn straight about it and lose a hell of a lot of money by dealing with them.
right. So you could go somewhere cheaper,
Oh yes, I could.
but you're paying attention to the environment.
No. To be completely honest, my strongest asset is our disturbing level of political correctness. Okay? I'm going to continue to act like this and get away with this and do all these other things, and the only reason I can get away with it is because, quite frankly, our environmental record is as pure as snow and Swansdown. You can't touch us, and I dare you to try. Okay? I don't have stockholders. I don't have to make the most profit. I just have to just deal with the stuff in a way that doesn't lose me money. So since I don't have to turn a huge profit, I don't have people leaning on my back to, get an extra couple pennies out of this process or that process, or screw the employee.